Welcome, healthy moms, to part 2 of baby formula and why you don't want to use it. Unless you absolutely have nothing else, then I would say just opt for the best you can buy. Look at the ingredients. If you see sugar is the first one, vegetable oils is the second one, and then you don't want soy. I'm going to get into that. You're better off sticking with other proteins. Although all the proteins that they put in those things, hard to digest. They're processed. They're taken out of their context, which would be your milk, or if it's obviously cow dairy, then they're taken out of cow dairy and they use those proteins. But they're damaged. That can cause gut issues. We're going to get into it. We left off with the formulas that contain DHA and ARA, that they can cause diarrhea and vomiting and dehydration and gastrointestinal pain. Remember, your baby can't tell you where it hurts. It just cries. So it's up to us to limit as much as we can anything that is not good for babies. Formula should be extremely complex, but you can't make it. Mother's milk has so many more things than you can just put into a little plastic tub. You know what I mean? We showed you those. Let's just quickly review really fast. All of these, all the proteins and enzymes and lipids and vitamins and minerals and cells of all kinds, these are life-giving. They create a baby. They don't just fuel a baby and just keep it alive. It's actually growing it. You can't get that when you do things like Enfamil. This doesn't have in it what you need. It's just not. It's not there. It's synthetic, it's fake, and it's horrible. Anyway, let's get on with what's in it. Well, we talked about the fact that sugar was the number one ingredient, and corn syrup solids would be the number one for just about everything on the market. But Eric, I only use organic type formulas. Yeah, they might be a little bit better, but again, it's dried, it's put together. They add things and make a recipe into a powder and then go, here you go. Just because it's white, when you mix it, doesn't mean that it's milk. I said many episodes ago how formula is very similar to, let's say, chocolate milk mix, hot cocoa mix. They're essentially the same thing. They put fats, they're really bad sugars, and horrible protein. They throw some vitamins and minerals in there so you think, oh, this could actually be a health product. It's terrible, and it hurts your body. Well, I wanted to show you why you're getting taken advantage of when it comes to baby formula. We're going to go through a few of the ingredients and just kind of bring it down to, let's say, base level of what are you buying? What are you getting, right? Well, corn syrup solids. You can buy 5 pounds for $30. Remember, these things are like $38, $39 for 20 ounces. 20 ounces compared to 5 pounds. That's a huge difference. So I'm going to be a little sarcastic here and say that technically you could buy all these things I'm about to show you and make your own formula for pennies on the dollar. They are absolutely overcharging for formula. I mean, it's not even close to being like, they make $5 a tub. No, they don't. It probably costs them 50 cents per tub and charging you 38, 39, 37, $40. You get some natural version and it's even more. It's cheap. This is just a quick search on Amazon showing corn syrup solids at $30 for 5 pounds. You know what better sugar it is for a baby? That would be lactose and oligosaccharides. Why? Well, milk of all kinds from just about any animal contains lactose as a sugar. Very easy to digest, especially for younglings, let's call them. Whatever it is, goat, human, calves, whatever. So they convert lactose into glucose and galactose. Super simple through lactase, which, by the way, you provide for them, and they also make a little bit themselves. Easy conversion. Super good, very, very healthy. Yes, babies can do sugar. They just need to have it in the right form. This is the right form. Hence, here we have lactose and oligosaccharides. See? They don't need corn syrup. That's bad. This is good. Corn syrup is bad. And you say, what about the protein? Well, they put either whey protein or soy protein in there. If they're springing for the cost, they go whey. If they're going cheap, they go soy. That's what they do. Look at this cost. 62 cents an ounce. Yeah. You see where I'm going with this? Here's another 5 pounds for $50. This is probably a much higher quality product than what's in normal formula. This is the cheapest Amazon protein I could find for whey protein. Does that put into perspective for you what you're paying for? And by the way, these proteins that they put in there, antagonistic to the body. The other protein that they put in there is soy. Now, in the future, I'm going to have a soy episode. And I'm telling you right now, this is in the top 3 foods you should never, ever consume. And believe it or not, it's in a lot of things you already do consume. And I mean a lot of things. Very detrimental unless you ferment it. And when you ferment soy, yeah, it's got a taste. You ever had natto? N-A-T-T-O? Well, soy protein is the bottom of the barrel protein. Eric, I've heard my whole life, it's super good for you. It's got all the amino acids. No, it doesn't. Nope. The problem too is it comes with a whole bunch of things that are not good for you. Let me ask you a question. If the top 2 food allergies on the planet is soy and dairy, what dairy are you getting? Well, that would be pasteurized or ultra pasteurized. So you destroyed the dairy and then you become allergic to it. That's not an allergy. That's your body saying, whoa, what is this? I don't recognize this. This is terrible. Get it out. So it reacts. We call those interactions. That's the technical term that you will hear from your doctor or the medical profession. Soy does the same thing. Soy is a bean, and beans are not healthy for humans at all unless you ferment them. So many compounds that are bad for you. Places that use soybean, they ferment. I'm going to say there's no reason to ever consume those products actually. You could say, well, the Japanese do fine with it. Yeah, they've also been doing it for a really, really long time, and you haven't. And what they do use is always fermented. Nobody's eating edamame like you think they are. That's not a thing. The real cultures don't consume straight raw beans, ever. Did you know if you consume more than 2 kidney beans that are not cooked, you can end up in the hospital? It can actually kill you. But Eric, I heard beans are so healthy. They are? Eat 2 kidney beans and see where you wake up. You're going to be in the ER. Okay? I'm going to do a full episode, like I said, on soy. It is a massively profitable and destroyer of human health, and it has been for a very long time. It's just the cheapest crop they can make with the highest profit margin, and they use it in everything. They just make stuff and then they tell you it's good for you. They sell you. Remember, my motto has always been, you're sold what you believe. From the very beginning of this podcast, I've told you you've been told and sold and lied to since the beginning about your health. I'm not saying I know everything, and I'm definitely not saying that I understand everything. We are learning on a daily basis. What is real? What's the truth? You know, most science is actually funded by the people selling you this garbage. Then we go, look at the science. Believe the science. Well, what science is it? Who paid for it? Right? Key bono. Most of the stuff is pharmaceutical paid for, and they're trying to sell you something. Don't believe them. You know, the other thing I said in the very first episode is I would tell you about people I worked with. Anecdotally, they had issues that got healed, got better. Can I prove every single thing based on science? Well, no. Nobody can. Will you discount then that somebody got healed? Is that a thing? You know, I put this person on this regimen and they feel great. Oh, that didn't work. You're lying to yourself and you're lying to your client and that person, and they're just, you're all in magical kingdom at this point. Really? Because that's not what happened. You put somebody on a diet, they lose weight, they feel good. Maybe it's for a year or two. Maybe then they need to change the diet up a little bit. Maybe you went on a regimen to get rid of a health condition. Feel great. It's gone. You haven't had it in 10 years. There's no science backing it. So does that mean you didn't get healed or you don't feel better? Come on. Anyway, soy is really, really bad for you. And I'm going to have an episode. I forgot to mention, so I re-recorded this segment, short segment. But yeah, I forgot to tell you one of the craziest things I've ever heard in my life. You see, soy contains estrogens. They're known as isoflavones. Now, why would you put soy in a baby formula? Because it's cheap, right? Profit margin and all that. Well, who makes those formulas? Most of them. That'd be pharmaceutical companies. They know isoflavones have interactions in the body acting like estrogen. It's a thing. It's real. So, this one time I'm in the health food store and this mother says, she does it like this. I'm going to act it out too. She says, you know, I got a question. Okay, go for it. I'm embarrassed to say, but is it normal for like a 3-year-old girl to have pubic hair and breasts? I said, nope, definitely not normal. She said, I don't know what to do. I'm afraid to tell anybody. Of course, she asked, why? And the first thing I asked her was, how long did you breastfeed? She said, about a week, and then I couldn't produce anymore. I said, did you go on formula? Yes, I did. Was it soy-based? She said, yes. You see, she was getting the equivalent of 3 to 5 birth control pills a day. Don't believe me? It's right here on the screen. This is just normal AI pulling in the data. It's very good data, There's so much research into this. There's also a whole lot of misinformation trying to say that this isn't a real thing. I wonder who is supporting and paying for that. Oh, might be the soy councils and the soy companies and people who make things like formula. All right, let's look at it. A 4-month-old infant fed soy formula is exposed to 28 to 47 milligrams of isoflavones per day. This is 6 to 11 times more per body weight than the amount that affects adults who consume soy. The plasma concentrations of isoflavones in infants fed soy formula are 13,000 to 22,000 times higher than plasma estradiol concentrations in early life. The plasma concentrations of isoflavones in infants fed soy formula are much higher than those fed cow's milk or breast milk. Interesting. Don't you find that interesting? So I'm just saying. I don't know why you would want to make sure that this was in formula. Baby Milk Action and IBFAN. New concerns about soy-based formulas. Changes in reproductive system tissues. British Diabetic Association, Australia 1999, New Zealand, December 1998, Switzerland 1997. And we'll just read this quick one from New Zealand or from Switzerland. This report too warns that very restrictive use should be made of soy formulas because of the potential harm from isoflavones, which is estrogen. It's just the plant estrogen. Well, Eric, plants are good for you and they have great things. Yeah, sometimes they do. And other times they have things that can do harm to your body. Australia, the report notes concerns about the potential and adversely affect subsequent sexual development and fertility. Eric, that story you just gave, that was just nonsense. I've never heard of anything like that. You're just lying. No, I'm not. I witnessed that. Matter of fact, I've heard of other stories too from others. Nationwide Children's Hospital, recognized among best of the best. Best Children's Hospital Honor Roll 24 through 25. Nationwide Children's Hospital has been named to U.S. News and World Report's Best Children's Hospitals Honor Roll for the 11th consecutive year and tied for #1 pediatric hospital in the Midwest. So you might think they know what they're talking about. So what did they say? I mean, you're telling me that I'm just off base and you're full of it. I'm turning the video off. Medical profession knows they never lie to us. Really? This is Nationwide Children's Hospital. You ready? Gonadotropin-independent precocious puberty. That's what it's called. Precocious puberty happens before age 8 in girls and before age 9 in boys. Precocious puberty is caused by high levels of sex hormones. These include the male androgens and female estrogens. Okay. The condition may be caused by tumors and tumors. Well, let's just say it like this. Tumors are your body's collection area. Get rid of stuff, put it into a bag, like a garbage bag in order to get rid of it. That's what a tumor is. Contact with estrogen or testosterone in cream, ointment, or spray. That can also come from all the baby care products you're using. And you're ready? Eating food contaminated with estrogen or estrogen-like substances such as in soy. Should I read that again? I don't think I need to. Because this is Nationwide Children's Hospital voted Number one, 11 years in a row in the Midwest. Okay. What are the symptoms of precocious puberty? Oh, that would be breast growth, pubic and underarm hair, menstruation and body odor. Those are for girls. For boys, growth of facial, underarm, or pubic hair, lengthening of the member, enlargement of one or both testes, body odor, acne, spontaneous erections, looking more masculine as a boy. I'm just curious, did I just read breast growth and pubic hair under the age of 8 and 9? Could it happen as early as 3, like she did? Yes, that was from way too much estrogen. Oh man, I didn't want to have to say it, but I had to put it back in here. So I know the video looks a little different because I went through this whole thing and I was like, I'm not going to talk about it. And then I stopped and I went, you know what? I have to, because it's happening a lot. We battle estrogen in our environment all the time. Why would we give it to our kids in the baby formula? Anyway, quickly, just a quick, search for soy side effects for babies. So without getting super deep, I'm going to describe these to you and get into a little bit more, but I don't want to make the whole entire episode about soy, because a lot of this is also about the dairy and the oil that's in it and the sugar. But quickly, soy can cause side effects in babies for a number of reasons, including allergies, intolerance, and interactions with other substances. Like I just said, interactions is a technical term that they refer to just about everything. You interacted. Well, of course you did. To something not real. It's a made-up food. And what does it cause? By the way, this is from soy protein. Rash, runny nose, wheezing, diarrhea, vomiting, blood in stools, upset stomach, hives, itchy, tearing, or red eyes. My question to you is, has anybody that you've seen, heard of, read about, know of, or your own babies that have any of these things on regular breast milk? From mom. Is this a normal thing? Unless mom is really, really unhealthy, these things don't happen. But all of these things are associated with formula, especially soy. So we say, oh my gosh, I better go to that sensitive formula. Remember? Got to use that sensitive formula because baby's just, interacting. Must be allergic to something. Well, I can tell you, I would definitely say these are intolerances and interactions. These are symptoms. And symptoms is your body saying, uh-oh, I got to get this out. So what does it use? It uses a rash, pushes it through the skin. Runny nose, trying to get it out through the snot. Wheezing, trying to get it out through the lungs. Diarrhea, trying to get it out through the bowels. Vomiting, trying to get it out of the stomach because it doesn't want to go any further. It needs to get it out. It's going to purge, right? Blood in stools. That killed tissue in the intestines. It is upsetting it to such a degree that the body has to force it out. There's inflammation. Then you end up with blood coming out. Upset stomach. Yeah, because the stomach's like, ooh, I don't like this. I don't want this. So it's clenching. It's cramping and flexing and trying to cause vomiting. Hives, again, out through the skin. You have elementary organs. You got your skin that pushes stuff out, breath, down there, urine. It's got to get out. When your body doesn't want it, it's coming out. And by the way, you can get even minor stuff like itching, tearing, or red eyes. I'm going to do an eye episode in the future. And I'm going to do it in a different way than you've ever heard of. It's going to be really interesting, describing a lot of this stuff. So let's look at the cost of soy. Oh, look at this. 20 kilograms or 44 pounds for $245 in a bag, a Mylar bag. So does this look like food to you? And is this something you want to put into water and to give it to your child? I wouldn't. But notice we have, again, an extremely cheap source of protein. Let's quickly watch a short little video. I'll probably talk over it while it's doing this, but if you've ever seen how they make vegetable oils, industrial seed oils, if you've never seen a processing plant, this is it's a pretty good one. There's better ones out there. I just wanted something quick. This is coming right from the maker of these oils. You ready? Check this out. So here's the long and short of it. It starts at the beginning, goes all the way through all these processes. All right, we're coming around to the front where they're going to put the original seeds or beans or nuts and whatever else they want to use. Comes through there, right? Goes down, goes up the escalator, across the top to a hopper. Hopper then goes into more vats and places where they use pressure and chemicals to extract stuff, break it down, digest it. And you can see it goes through each one of these. That's a lot of places. Right now we're in pressure and squeezing. So they pressurize that when you squeeze it and grind it to get the oils. Those go out into tanks. Okay? That's ridiculous. You know what doesn't do that? Your mom's breast. You could either go through that entire process to get fat, or you can just suckle. This is real food made by mom. Her breast has what you just saw, making that for the baby. And we wonder why breast milk is better than that industrial process you just watched. Think about this miracle. That's why I called it a miracle those last 4 episodes. You just have this one mammary gland that just made food. Like, have you ever been to a food processing plant? Let's just say this one. Let's call it frozen dinners. Did you ever see them put all that stuff together just to make one like lunch or dinner? You throw in the microwave, right? Mom made that only better. Isn't that amazing? And it's with you all the time, and you consistently make it the right way, the proper way, at the right times of the baby's life. That is fascinating to me. So anyway, just saying, you could eat industrial created food, or you could just use mom's breast. Simple, super easy. Eric, it's also got vitamins and minerals in there, so it must be healthy. Nope. They use the worst vitamins and minerals that you can think of. The cheapest of the cheap. They are not buying really expensive nutrients. That little canister of 20 ounces would be like $200 or more. They can't do it. You know that mom's breast milk is free? Yeah, free. So let's look at where you can get all those vitamins and minerals. Look at this. This is just another Amazon. Here we have this company again. All the worst. See, magnesium oxide, calcium silicate, magnesium chloride, hydroxide, calcium citrate, vitamin C. Just goes on. Here's zinc. Just goes on and on. Really, really cheap, all industrial made, adding it to a milk thing, pretend milk food. This is not food. I'm sorry, it's not. But again, cheap, really cheap. Now let's get into the actual side effects and why you don't want to use it. This is just one graphic showing you this is true. These things do happen, and these are very, very common. Necrotizing enterocolitis. All right. So that is a major gut issue. That's when your baby cannot stop having diarrhea and bowel movements. It doesn't matter what you give them. That formula is so irritating to the gastrointestinal system that your baby's body is trying to force it out because it got past the stomach. Food allergies. What is an allergy? It's an interaction to something that your body doesn't want. So, why would you call it food allergies? Is it breast milk allergy? Nope. Is it a soy allergy? Yep. Is it a pasteurized, powderized cow or dairy protein? Yep. Is it vegetable oils they don't want because they're irritating? Yep. Is it vitamins and minerals that are irritating to the gut and the stomach? Yep. On and on and on. Anaphylaxis. So could this be the scariest thing ever? You decide, all right, I'm done breastfeeding, or I can't, or whatever the situation. So you go and you buy what you think is the best, or your doctor, who knows nothing about nutrition, says you need to do a sensitive baby formula, just like veterinarians do to your dog. Oh, just go get a sensitive food. No, that's not dog food. That's why they're spitting it up. That's why they got diarrhea. That's why they're getting diabetes and all these problems. It's not food. So you make the simplest, least antagonistic food and try and give your baby or your pets. And what happens? They still respond bad to it. And you're like, oh man, I'll try this one then. And you try another one and another one. You're like, oh no, what do I... Pretty soon, you're just like, is what it is. Then you put your child or your dog, even your cat, on medication because we're feeding it non-food. And the body's like, I do not want this in my body. Get it out. The other way it does is hives, like we were saying earlier. That is your body reacting and saying, get out. Vomiting is a purging, obviously. It's in the stomach at that point. Chronobacter bacteria contamination. Well, when you put poisons into liquid like water, especially not filtered clean water, there are going to be living organisms in there, and guess what they get to feed on? All the stuff that's in that brand that you were purchasing, and then you get contamination in the milk bottle. Yep. You know what's not contaminated if you're healthy and you take care of your breasts? Yeah, the milk in your breasts. They're fine. Totally fine. Intolerances. And by the way, notice who wrote this. Organics best. Aw, isn't that really special? Noticeable weight loss or gain. Yes, because if you're losing weight, your body's purging this food because it doesn't want it. You are going to lose body mass and the kid's not going to grow. Gaining weight, that would be the sugar and the vegetable oil that together cause diabetes. I've been diabetic since I was a baby. Type 1 diabetes, yep. People aren't born that way. It's probably so few babies that are born that way. We do it to them. We cause those issues. Extra reflux symptoms and trouble gaining weight. Reflux symptoms. Why would a baby have reflux? Eric, it's caused by acid, too much acid. Nope, it's not caused by too much acid. They're not getting enough acid. That acid stimulates the stomach to close the valve so it doesn't come back up. Okay? They're not getting enough acid. because you're doing a formula, which is non-acidic. It's always this pH balanced garbage. Frequent crying and fussiness after feedings. Let me ask you, if you ate something that wasn't good for you, and I'm talking quick, some people, you know what I'm talking about. If you ever had food poisoning and it's fast, like in 20 minutes, yeah, maybe it could just be nausea. Could be literally vomiting, but they're crying because their stomach hurts. Diarrhea or severe constipation. So diarrhea is obvious. Get out of me. And then constipation is there's no, watch this. Let's go back to the first list here. There's no enzymes or bacteria, good bacteria, like the bifidus factors, to digest it. So what happens is you end up getting constipation. Unbelievable. You know, they say sometimes when people do too much dairy, they can get constipated. You know, no one gets constipated on raw dairy because you digest it. It's not just sitting there undigestible. Mucus or blood in stool. I talked about this one a little bit earlier, but this is really, really bad. And you could, if this was happening when you were 20, you'd call that colitis, Crohn's disease, whatever. But what's in a baby, oh, he's just insensitive to this formula. No, it's not real food. Vomiting, that's pretty obvious. Get out of me. Purge now. Allergy symptoms of all kinds. That is because your skin is a massive organ. It is a great way to get rid of toxins, stuff that's in there that shouldn't be in there. Or it's just your body's like, I don't want this. Whatever it is, you have no idea. Let's go back to Enfamil again. You have no idea where that corn syrup came from. Was it grown with glyphosate? Where was that even grown? Could be another country. The vegetable oil, all of those. Did they use chemical poisons in there? Plus, of course, when they do the oils, they use chemical toxins in order to extract the oil. So you're getting that. And then the milk protein isolate. Well, that's probably not an organic cow, right? Grass-fed cow. That's probably a growing facility. What do you call those? I lost the term. The massive cow farms. You know, those things. Yeah. And then, of course, the alpina oil and the SP oil. We don't know where those came from. There could be just high amounts of mercury or any of the heavy metals, lead and stuff. Oh my gosh, when they test the lead and the heavy metal content of baby formulas, it's through the roof. Because these ingredients, they're not grown in your backyard where you have full control or on your homestead. These things are grown in the worst conditions. Yeah. These are only a few. You can have worse symptoms than this in a baby. And again, they can't tell you where it hurts. You're only seeing symptoms. I actually did. This is my website if you don't know. I actually did some episodes on this. So we just had, exposing the baby formula part 1. That was the last episode. But I did a whole thing on breast milk. 4 parts. So if you just came into this episode, you might want to start with episode 1. Breast milk is nature's miracle. Very, very important information to have. This is, I said it before. When you really go down to the foundation of a human, starts with mom. So mom needs to take care of herself, growing you. Then when you come out, now you're on your own food that's manufactured from mom. So it's like bottom of the pyramid, most important. And the next level up is your milk. You would not go past that second level and go into level 4, which is, eating steak. Baby's going to have a tough time, And cereal and all this kind of stuff. I mean, that's why you have to grind up their food when they're young, is because they can't chew it, right? So anyway, I think you get the point. This is very, very important. Foundation of your health as a growing little tiny baby. You got to take care of your child. And I mean, it should be the most priority. No, things going into the skin. Feed yourself well so you can feed your baby well. And if you have to buy formula, on those last episodes, I told you how to make it, last one. There are ways to make your own formula. It's not preferable, but it's still a good way to go. And people do it around the world if they can't make breast milk. I hope this was helpful. Got this one out in just part 2 instead of part 3 and 4. So thank you for listening. Really appreciate you guys. I hope this helps all you moms. If you know somebody who's nursing or about to give birth and this kind of thing, maybe pass these along to them, all these episodes. I'd appreciate it, and I think they would too. Take care of yourselves. Thank you for listening.